Hello and welcome, my name is Traversal and welcome to my Monster Hunter Rise 101 guide videos. On this video I will discuss the Biobug as promised, how to use it and how to traverse the huge cliffs and hills in this game. On the bottom of the screen you can see two icons that look like wasps. These icons are your Biobug usage. You have two in total or by default. You can increase this amount, but I will talk about that a little bit later. Over here you have a Great Biobug. This guy has a set point where you can be sent to on the map. Usually they send you a pretty decent distance away. Sometimes they send you a great distance away. These are randomly placed in the map. Usually there's 5 to 6, maybe even 7 laid out in the map in various positions. However, they are called lily pads by default, and you need to have Great Biobugs in your disposal in order to unlock these. There is an NPC in the village which will give you requests that you can complete that unlock more Great Biobugs for you. If you run out of Great Biobugs, please do these requests. You can see them in your quest tab in the start menu, side quests and requests. Here you can see a list of random requests that I have. Yours will be different once you unlock those in the village. Alright, let's talk about traversal with the normal Biobugs. As I stated, you have two uses of Wirebug. With the left trigger you can go into aim state. And here you can press either Y or B to use a Wirebug. Pressing Y will make you jump. Nice. Pressing B with the aim state will make you go forwards instead. The difference is pretty noticeable. Now if I press Y again mid-air, since I have two Biobug uses, I will go forwards instead. If I press B mid-air, after I use left trigger and Y, and left trigger and B, I will go downwards instead. So both the Y and the B option have use case. One goes up and the other goes down. If I want to jump on top of this rock, I will use left trigger and Y. If I want to go down as fast as possible, I will use left trigger and B. There is a third option, which is to aim, and as you can see on the screen there is right trigger. This will make it so that you can aim anywhere you want and send the Biobug there with the right trigger. I can go along the ground level and I can of course jump as well. This is the best way to use Biobug in my opinion. The Y and B options are there so that you can do quick decisions while you're fighting monsters and whatnot. If you need to jump over something or you need to get back to the ground level really fast. Another thing that works in tandem with the Biobug is your stamina meter. So as we are going to practice climbing up this hill, we need stamina for it. So in order to gain more stamina, we will actually eat rations for it. As you can see, my stamina bar on the top side is running out. The yellow bar is my current stamina and the red bar is telling me that hey, you can increase your normal stamina a little bit more. So eating rations will just increase that stamina. The white portion on the cages I will discuss later on, and they are these spirit bird things over here. That's coming up later. So with your stamina at max, and understanding that Wirebugs go on cooldown once you use them. It's about 5-second cooldown or so. So, in order to climb up a wall, you cannot just run towards it, and you cannot roll at it. But you need to be sprinting, at least. So sprinting comes with the RB, as we discussed previously on previous videos. RB makes you sprint and lose stamina. So when we latch onto the wall, we need to be sprinting up it. To get latched onto the wall, we need to use a Wirebug first, and then sprint up the wall. Once my stamina runs out, the character automatically jumps down it. However, as I mentioned, we have a couple uses of the Wirebug, and we can use them mid-air. So let's use the trigger option this time. Aim at the wall, run up the wall, and once our stamina runs out, use the Wirebug again. Use the Wirebug again. That's it. That's the way you can get up hills like this. But for you, stamina consumption might be a little bit faster than mine, and you might not have as much stamina as me. So you cannot get up there as easily as I can. But luckily you have an option for that as well. An option for that is to get a third Wirebug. These smaller Wirebugs are scattered across the map randomly in random places. Collecting one of these will give you a third Wirebug use, and third is the maximum amount you can have. So now I can actually climb this wall a little bit easier, since I don't need to manage my Biobug usage as much. So let's try that out. With the trigger option, go up, run up the wall, jump off, use Wirebug, and use Wirebug again. It makes things a little bit easier. On top of this, it's really useful for quick traversing through the map. By using just the trigger option, I can pretty easily traverse great distances with it. Alright, let's talk about the minimap that comes in tandem with the Wirebug. Since the minimap kinda shows you where you can traverse with the Wirebug and where you don't need to. The grey areas on the minimap, for example, are areas that are elevated plateaus, hills and cliffs, where you need to use the Wirebug to get on top of. Sometimes there is a small pathway like this over here that kinda leads up and down it, but most often you still need to use Wirebug in order to get all the way up there. Alright. Another problematic thing about the Wirebug is that if you're not used to it, you might actually start running sideways the wall. Like this. And that's not really useful for you if you want to go up the hill. So make sure you're pressing up and not sideways. The minimap also shows you the brownish yellow areas. These are just normal ground level plateaus that the monsters reside in. The monsters will never go into the grayish areas where you use Biobug in. So these areas are free from monsters outside of small mob-like creatures. So as you can see on the minimap, I'm in a quest that shows me that there are green dots on the minimap. And some of them are laid out in the grey areas. I chose this quest so that you can see that a lot of the times when you choose a gathering quest like this, a lot of the items are placed in the gray areas, not in the ground level. Thus you will need to use the Biobug quite often, and you need to learn how to use it effectively. Alright, there's one last thing I want to show you. So I will warp back into the base camp and show you the Great Wirebug and how to use that effectively as well. So the Great Wirebug sends you to a certain distance, but after it has sent you there, you can use your normal Wirebugs as normal. This way you can traverse pretty long distances without ever using your Palamute and, you know, get a head start on things. That's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys on the next one, where we talk about spirit birds, I believe. Alright, see you next time.